Hello, Gene Schwimmer here. Welcome to today's vlog, which is going to be another one of those vlogs where I had a subject all ready to go and then something happened and now I'm going to talk about something else completely. But I hope to get back to what I wanted to talk about tomorrow. But who knows what's going to happen tomorrow. Anyways, for today, well, before I get into today's subject, just, major breaking news for me anyhow. I picked up 2 more subscribers over the last day or 2 days or so. I'm up to 19 subscribers, whoopee, 19. So can we hit 20? Let's see what happens. Seriously, I appreciate everybody who subscribed. What I also appreciate is when people take the time and trouble to write a comment, because as I've said in the past, you have your own lives to live. It's a small thing, I guess, in the scheme of the universe, but to me, it's an honor in a way. I really do appreciate it. And this is why I'm changing the subject, actually, today. As I've said in the past, sometimes I get comments that just provide food for thought, and then it's something I want to respond to. This comment came from Lynn777. So, Lynn, personally, thanks for taking time to comment. I'm going to read your comment, and then I just have some comments of my own on your comment. So let me put it up for everybody and just read the comment out loud. Quote, an interesting proposal. And here I have to confess, I guess it's a little embarrassing, but I don't remember which vlog that was or what the proposal was to which Lynn is referring. So just chalk it up to my aging brain. But I do know from Lynn that whatever it was interesting. But what I really want to talk about today is in the rest of the quote, so let me just go on here. Don't forget that President Clinton reduced the deficit to 0. He kept his promise. We also had peace and prosperity under his administration, and because of that, and then the quote goes on, but, well, it's a long quote. It's a good quote. I encourage everybody to read it, but the part I want to talk about is in this little section that I just read. So let's just talk about that. Now, this is going to sound like I'm arguing against Bill Clinton, but I'm not really, if you follow me till I get to the end of my thought and to the point that I want to make. But just to mention, well, first of all, just to correct the record about peace and prosperity, because the overall point was that the Clinton administration was one of relative peace and prosperity. That's undeniable. But it was peace and prosperity that I think resulted from a couple of things. One of them being ignoring looming problems, things that he ignored that became bigger problems later for other presidents to deal with because he didn't deal with them. Well, an obvious example being North Korea. He made this deal with North Korea to give them, I don't remember how much fuel oil, but he made an agreement with North Korea that led eventually to the problems that we're having with North Korea today, that Donald Trump has to deal with because Bill Clinton did not deal with them. Another example, the problems we're having today with China, the theft of intellectual property, the forced technology transfers, the unfair trading. All of this was happening during the Clinton administration. Clinton did nothing about it. So now Trump has to deal with it. And another event that people may have forgotten, the Oklahoma City bombing, 160 people killed. That happened during the Clinton administration. But the big one I want to mention is the World Trade Center bombing, the first one. Bill Clinton treated that as a criminal matter, not as what it was, an act of war against the United States. But more important, he did not go after Afghanistan at that time. Even though Al-Qaeda was there, he did not address the problem. And because he did not address it, and I'm not blaming, I'm not saying Bill Clinton caused the second attack on the World Trade Center, 9/11. I am not saying that he caused that. There's no way he could have predicted that. But I am saying that had Clinton done in his administration what Bush eventually had to do in his administration, it's very safe to say that 9/11 would not have happened. Again, I am not blaming Bill Clinton for 9/11. But I am saying that Bill Clinton had a tendency to ignore looming problems, hoping, I guess, that they would go away, or not wanting to hurt his ratings or his administration. I think that is a fair comment. People can disagree with that. I think one of the positive points about Donald Trump, whatever you may think about him, is that he is recognizing problems and he is dealing with them. So getting back to Bill Clinton and building up to the point I want to make, the positive about the economy, it's undeniable that we had a great economy under Bill Clinton. We cannot deny that, but we also cannot deny that we did not have the economic growth in the first 2 years that we had in the remaining 6 years. And what happened after those first 2 years? The Republicans, for the first time in 40 years, won the House and the Senate. And it's only fair to give them some of the credit. It was the Republicans working with Bill Clinton that gave us this prosperity. And I would also say, in fairness, the dot-com bubble, that also contributed to prosperity, and that bubble unfortunately later burst in the latter years of the Clinton administration, and nobody really talks about that. We can argue about how much of a factor it was, but I think it's fair to say that it was a factor. But what I am saying about the Republicans and Bill Clinton is that they worked together, unlike today. And this is one of the things that really bothers me. I guess this is one point, getting to my major point. Bill Clinton is, or was, well, he may be today, a different kind of Democrat than what we have today. And this is going to be another vlog, by the way, about what's happening to the Democratic Party. But one example is what's happened to the Democratic Party since Bill Clinton, and what kind of a president Bill Clinton was. It's important to know that Clinton was very to the left in the first 2 years, but then when he lost the House and the Senate, he got the message and he moved over and he started working with the Republicans, unlike Democrats today who refuse to work at all with Donald Trump, to do anything for the country if it helps Donald Trump. If I think back, I'm pretty sure, I'm not going to go and dig up old videos, but I'm sure there are scenes of signing ceremonies in the Rose Garden or somewhere in the White House where you see Democrats and Republicans standing together behind Bill Clinton as he signs a bill that the parties worked on together. Bill Clinton, for whatever you can say about his personal life or his honor or whatever, he did work with Republicans. That's very important, because I want to be clear. I'm not saying that, well, Bill Clinton, yeah, he did this, but he had to have the Republicans and Clinton doesn't get any credit. I'm saying they both deserve credit, and what especially deserves credit is an era when Republicans and Democrats were working together. And it's much to Bill Clinton's credit that he did work with Republicans, and it's much to Newt Gingrich's credit that he did work with Bill Clinton. In fact, one of the tragic outcomes or the tragic ramifications of the impeachment of Bill Clinton, which I think is also applicable or will be applicable today if the House goes through with impeaching Donald Trump, and he will not be removed from office. You can be sure of that. So, as with Clinton, it's a useless exercise. But the point I'm getting at here is that when the Monica Lewinsky scandal exploded, at the time that happened, Newt Gingrich and Bill Clinton were working on health care reform, Medicare reform, and I'm not sure, Social Security reform. They were working together, and impeachment blew that all up, and it's really sad because who knows what Well, Medicare and health care and Social Security, I'm guessing that all three would be on a secure footing had they been able to work together. Which now brings me to the major point that I want to make. Because when we talk about the prosperity that we had during the Clinton years and that 1 year when there was no deficit, we have to remember that Bill Clinton working with the Republicans. Remember, Bill Clinton raised taxes, some taxes in the first 2 years of his administration before the Democrats lost the House and the Senate. But then in the last 6 years, working with the Republicans, he cut the capital gains tax. He cut the tax, or the tax rate, I should say, the capital gains tax rate, and we had the prosperity that everybody agrees occurred, or should agree, unless they're being overly partisan, which I try not to be. Not always easy, but I try to be. We had that prosperity after the capital gains tax cut. We had the balanced budget with no deficit after the capital gains tax rate cut. The point I'm getting at, the major point, here it comes, get ready, is that it's the policies that matter, not the party. Because there's too much of that in this environment that we live in, this very divided, very partisan environment, where you'll say, under this Democratic president we had this great growth, or under this Democratic president we had this terrible economy, under this Republican president we had tremendous growth, under this Republican president we had terrible growth. And well, let me just throw in an irony that I meant to mention earlier, is that the Clinton economy was the second greatest economy, the second fastest or most growing economy that we had after the Reagan economy, which was number one, but only by a little bit. And that's the irony, because if Bill Clinton had had a Republican Congress in his first 2 years, for his entire administration, had he not raised taxes as he did in his first 2 years, had he signed into law the capital gains tax rate cut in the beginning of his administration instead of later in his administration, he probably would have beaten Reagan and had the best, or had the record of having presided over the best American economy ever. So that's a little bit of irony there for people to think about. But again, I just want to get back to what I want to make as my main point, which is that it's the policy, that it's not whether it's a Democrat or a Republican. We had a Democratic president, JFK, John F. Kennedy. He cut taxes, and he said that famous statement that a rising tide lifts all boats. People attribute that to Reagan, but it wasn't Reagan who said that. It was Kennedy who said that. And by the way, Reagan voted for Kennedy. Reagan was a Democrat during the Kennedy administration. But the point is that Kennedy cut taxes and there was tremendous growth. Now you have other administrations in the past where you had higher tax rates under Republicans and you had slower growth. So you can say under certain Democratic presidents we had high growth, under certain Republican presidents we had low growth. But the important point is the policies. It doesn't matter who the president is. It doesn't matter what the party is of that president. It's the policies that matter. So that's it. Going to wind it up. It's the policies, not the party. Remember that. And vote for the right policies, not for a particular party. Thanks a lot for stopping by. Thumbs up if you like the video. I'm up to 19 subscribers. Maybe we can make it 20. That would be really great. Comments are welcome, just as Lynn777's comments was welcome. As you see, I'm not one of these people. I don't get angry or insult people who take the trouble to write to me. When I get an interesting point, or if something triggers an interesting point, then I will answer. So, well, thumbs up if you like the video. I think I already said that. Share it with anybody you would think would like the video too. Feel free to put a comment in the comment section as Lynn777 did. And again, thanks, Lynn, for taking the trouble. You can also subscribe. I'm up to 19 subscribers here. So if you would like to join these 19 subscribers, you're all welcome. And whether you subscribe or not, I hope to see all of you again, and maybe with a few of your friends, relatives, and well, anybody you can just pull off the street and tie them to a chair and make them watch my video. So they'll thank you for it. That's it. See you again soon. Until I do, bye.